Hi everyone, welcome to Nina Cucina. Tonight is burger night in the Nina Cucina kitchen, but with a little twist. I'm going to be showing you how to create my shrimp and scallop burgers with Asian rainbow slaw and my sweet potato salad with creamy garlic dressing. And guess what? There's not a drop of cream in it. It's luscious and rich. It has 480% of the recommended daily allowance for vitamin A, 34% for manganese, and 28% of the recommended daily amount of vitamin C. And guess what? It even has some B6, 23% of the recommended daily allowance. That'll give you lots of energy. Now, my shrimp and scallop burgers are even low calorie. They only have 367 calories with a powerhouse punch of protein, 30 full grams. 4 grams of fiber coming from that Asian slaw with 194% of the recommended daily allowance for vitamin C and 142% of vitamin A. It also has a very important mineral, selenium. Selenium protects our bodies against cancer. 68% of the recommended daily allowance. Not only are we going to have fun eating burgers tonight, but we're going to get a punch of nutrition too. Let's get started making the sweet potato salad. I'm going to start with making the dressing, and what we're going to do first is roast some garlic. Roasted garlic is sweet and delicious. I'm just laying out in a crisscross fashion 2 pieces of tin foil. I'm going to lay in the center of that a piece of parchment. Now I do it this way because I really don't want a tinny flavor being imparted onto my garlic heads. So I'm just going to set that aside. Here we've got about 4 to 5 heads of garlic. If you've got nice big ones, go ahead and use 4. These are kind of medium sized, so I'm going to use 5. We're just going to slice off the pointy tips of the garlic to reveal all of the cloves and just place it in the center of the parchment paper. Now we're just going to drizzle a little bit of grapeseed oil over the garlic, give it a little massage, and make a little packet out of the parchment, followed by the tin foil. Now, this will make a perfect opportunity for these garlic heads to roast. Now I'm just going to pop this onto a baking sheet and pop it into a preheated 375-degree oven for 1 hour. And these garlic heads are going to become sweet and golden. Now my garlic is cool enough to handle, so I am going to open up my package. And I've got these wonderful, golden, soft, smushy, fragrant garlic heads. And that is going to be the basis of my dressing. So let's get started. This is really simple. You're going to squeeze the garlic into the blender. It's going to come out just like a paste. There, perfect. Try and squeeze every single little clove so that you get all of it in there. Now, there's a lot of sweetness in garlic, and that is what makes it turn golden, is the sugar. Now, I'm just going to get rid of my parchment packet, wipe my hands off just a tad here, Let's chop some parsley. Some fresh parsley and some fresh dill are going to go into this wonderful dressing. And I'm just going to go ahead and get that chopping going. You can use any herbs that you want. Some of my favorites are parsley and dill, but also tarragon is fabulous in this. And we're going to put some fresh basil on the salad itself, or you could put basil in your dressing. It's whatever you feel like it. You just want something fresh and green. Fresh dill right into the blender. And a little bit of fresh parsley, just a couple of tablespoons. Get it nice and green. Nice fresh green parsley goes in. Now we're just going to pour in the rest of the ingredients right into the blender. We have some Dijon mustard, a little sea salt, about half a teaspoon, not too much, a little lemon juice, about 1/4 cup, a couple of tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. I like this one in particularly because it has a nice peppery green flavor. And just a little bit of heat. You could use hot sauce. I'm using a little chipotle. And here's the trick. Almond milk. This is going to give you the idea that it's creamy, but really it's very low in calories. Now we're just going to give that a good whiz. Oh, wow. Now that has a real garlic aroma. It's beautiful and green, and I'm just going to let it sit right here in the blender while we chop potatoes. Okay, let's talk about potatoes. We're just going to simply cut off the ends very simply and give these a rough chop just so they're nice and chunky. Now, before I take these over to the stove, I am going to pour my dressing into this salad bowl. And what's going to happen is we're going to cook these potatoes and then pour them hot and steaming into this dressing and give them a toss. And all of those luscious dressing flavors will get absorbed into those sweet potatoes, giving them a fabulous flavor. Now that my sweet potato salad has cooled off a bit, I'm going to go ahead and add the beautiful fennel. Look at that great color, that light green against that bright orange, just beautiful. And my fresh herbs, my basil and the fennel fronds. And just give that a toss. Now, at this point, you can place it in the refrigerator, or you can just set it aside at room temperature, whichever you prefer. I like my potato salad at room temperature, so I'm going to set it aside and we're going to get started on our burgers. Now, our shrimp and scallop burgers. Let's get started. We've got some beautiful wild shrimp here. I'm just going to put them in my food processor. You'll notice that I've been storing these on a paper towel. The reason for that is that I want to keep them very dry. The drier your shrimp and your scallops are, the better your burgers will stay together. Now I'm just giving these a little rough chop in the food processor. Give them a little scrape down to make sure that everything gets chopped evenly. There we go. And it's going to go right into this bowl. The last little bit off of our blade here. Next, we're going to do the scallops. Now, I also have the scallops on a paper towel lined plate. and I'm going to dry them even more. The key is dry scallops. Now, these are nice and dry. You can see they're almost sticking to the paper towel. That's really what you want, because you want to keep them dry enough to adhere to your shrimp. These are absolutely fabulous burgers, and you'll want them to stay together. Now we're going to absolutely puree these into a paste. Now we have a nice white puree. Just going to pour that right into my shrimp bowl. But the scallops act as a binder, so you want to get every last sticky drop out. Get this out of our way. Now let's do a little chopping. I'm going to start with some chives, about a half a cup. These are going to lend a nice green oniony flavor. Just run your knife through, get all those little extra long pieces chopped up. Into the bowl it goes. I've got about 3 tablespoons of capers. Now I'm just going to run my knife through those as well, just so they spread evenly through the scallop shrimp mixture. Into the bowl. I have here some chopped shallots. I like shallots in this because they just sort of melt away into the burgers when they're cooked. I'm going to do about a teaspoon of sea salt. I like sea salt because it has more minerals and less sodium than the table variety. I have here something that's going to give it a lot of flavor. This is 2 tablespoons of hot powdered mustard. This is the kicker. A little white pepper, about 3/4 of a teaspoon, and a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. Now let's talk about some fresh herbs. Today I'm going to just use a little bit of oregano because I found some in my garden, and some fresh parsley. Now you can do anything you want. My standards for this are usually, dill, tarragon, and parsley, or dill, tarragon, and basil. But when I found this oregano in my garden today, I thought was so proud of myself, I had to use it. So you don't want too much. This is just going to be about a tablespoon, because I didn't want to take my entire plant. My thumb is not that green, and I'm going to use just about 3 to 4 tablespoons of chopped parsley. This is Italian flat leaf. We're just going to fold these ingredients together. Just kind of smush them all together with the back of your spatula. All those beautiful green tones mixing in with those shrimp and the scallop puree and that pepper and mustard is going to give it just a little bit of heat. Now that looks good. Now I'm just going to grab myself a bowl of water and an ice cream scoop, and we're going to make burgers together. Now what we're going to do is I'm just going to dip one hand in my bowl of water here, and I'm going to take 2 ice cream scoops full of our burger mixture. Dip my other hand in water, and I'm just going to make a nice burger patty. And you can see all the beautiful colors in that patty. These are so nutritious, high in protein. Let's do another one. 2 big scoops, little water, little water. You can make these any shape you want. You can make them round, you can make them oval. I've made them square, but round is pretty much the easiest way. Now, let's go to the stove and start cooking them up. So I'm just going to add a couple of teaspoons of grapeseed oil. Now, you're just going to leave them alone and let them brown. Now, once they've browned on one side, just give them a flip over. Give them about another 3 to 4 minutes on the second side. Now, I've got beautiful brown burgers on both sides, so I'm just going to turn off my heat and move them over to my work surface, still sizzling hot. Let me show you how I put this plate together. I'm going to give my slaw one last toss just to get all those flavors together. I'm going to put a nice big scoop right onto the platter. And we're going to just take a burger, sizzling hot and golden brown, and just lay it up against the side. And let's get some potato salad for this plate as well. Now, that is burger night, Nina Cucina style. Look at that, isn't that gorgeous? All those colors means lots of antioxidants and lots of flavor. Thanks for joining me today at Nina Cucina for burger night. See you next time.